Hello, good afternoon, colleagues and dear guests of our Business Analysis Excellence Conference. Thank you for joining us today. We are in the middle of our conference. We have the full day full of different topics and most experienced presenters. So all our presentations are going to be recorded. So lately we'll be sending you the recordings, and I'm happy to introduce our next speaker. It's Galina Kharkevich from Belarus, Minsk. She's a senior business analyst at EPAM, and she's going to present you a topic: business analyst versus developers. Who is the boss here? So the communication and interaction with the team, it's must have. Galina is very experienced business analyst, and she is eager to learn psychology to understand people communication. So, hi, Galina, are you ready?
Yep. Hi, everybody. It's very nice to be here, and I welcome everybody who is interested in communications and building trust within team here today. Yep.
Yeah, thank you, Galina, for joining today. And I would like just to mention that feel free to post your questions in chat, and we'll be able to answer all your questions as much as we can after the presentation. Thank you so much. Let's start, Galina.
Yep, here we go. Yep, as mentioned, today we're looking into the details of communication between business analysts and developers. And actually, what I'm trying to loop into is the nature of this connection first, what are the main mistakes and how we can convert them to strengths, if it's possible at all. And last but not the least, to mention discrimination issues in BA Dev communication and in our IT sphere in general. My name is Galina. Natively, I'm from Belarus. I was born in Orsha. Now I'm working in EPAM in Poland, in Gdańsk. I have to say that I've started my career as a business analyst, even not knowing that I'm a business analyst, because I've graduated from Belarusian State University as a computer linguist. And just to mention, computer linguistics is like a separate particular part of business analysis. And that's why I've been learning how to create requirements for particular type of programs, kind of translators, machine learning and stuff like that. And only later on, after I already graduated, I realized that this is like a part of business analysis activities. I've been working as a business analyst for 8 years almost, and I've lived through a number of different projects in different stages from different parts. I've stepped into both discoveries and long-lasting multi-team or startup projects, and all of them have some advantages and disadvantages. And that's why it allows me to say that I'm pretty experienced in business analysis as well. Experience makes the masters. I should also mention that I've always been interested in psychology, and as a part of psychology, as of now, you can maybe know, the Scrum Masters are those who help us to build the process itself and to build the communication. And that's why I've always been interested in Agile and Scrum Master techniques and methodologies. And I even certified myself in Safe Agile previous year. The last, once again, but not the least, I believe that part of my experience is being a mother of 2 sons, because while communicating with kids is somewhere where you both learn and teach, and it helps me a lot in my everyday activities. It helped me to build communication productively. So I wish to you guys, if I wouldn't say I'm okay with child-free, and that's absolutely your decision, but when you have to practice, I advise you to go to the kids' garden, I don't know, whatever, and practice on kids, because they're helping a lot. Coming to the conversation we are going to talk about who's the boss here, I wanted to start with the roles in the project, roles in any project, actually. Sometimes they're hidden, but still these activities should be done within any IT development or even in building solution or in business consultancy. I've studied out this model, and business analyst is in the middle, because as I believe it should be, because it's the connection part between all the roles. And even though software developer, for example, can communicate directly to project manager or stakeholder or product manager, whatever, still a business analyst is always somewhere there. He's hiding on the corner, I don't know, whatever. And moreover, business analysts are trying to provide this high level of communication and build the trust. And that's why maybe statistically involved stakeholders spend more than 50% of their time communicating with business analysts. Because, well, yeah, he is the point of contact. He is the person to log any change request, whatever. He is the person who should be aware of anything. And he is, as such, a knowledge holder, a knowledge basement. He actually cares about the communication. I hope not more than all of the rest roles, but definitely he should too. What the hell communication is? I hope everybody is aware that communication is about sharing information, and there is always the receiver and the sender. It can be multiple receivers or multiple senders, as today on our conference. But building communication is not about only talking. It's not about only giving this information, because you can give information by words, but at the same time, you have some other tools, some other issues that are holding in the air. You may not even suspect that they're, but they definitely. For example, you can see here that as part of communication, there are mediators and tools we use. It definitely matters I would say, so that everybody was convenient what's going on. Everybody feels safe within the tool. And that's why tools matters. And the mediators, if there will be, for example, a translator, it will definitely influence the whole communication and the trust itself. I wouldn't say it's bad, it's just special, unusual. Moreover, there is always culture. Now we're experiencing the detected teams. That means that somebody is from Africa, somebody is from India, the other one's from Mexico, and so on and so forth. Behind of every face you're communicating with, there is different cultural station, there is different language, there is numerous number of things that you should take into consideration, at least not to offend anyone, to take once again, so that to be aware, for example, what are non-operational hours if you're working inside things, and so on and so forth. What's appropriate or not, actually only team can assess. But to build the communication, you should take it into consideration. Definitely emotions matter. You can see by your personal example that sometimes emotions, and I would say almost all the time, emotions influencing or trying to influence your decisions, what you're saying, how do you say it. For example, how are you ready to defend yourself? Or maybe you're quite loyal right now. If you're pleased, if you're happy, it's pretty okay, because you're building this optimistic view and you're trying to build the communication in this skill. But what shall you do if you're suffering from something serious, kind of depression, maybe not depression, but a little stressed? Maybe you're not feeling well enough today. For example, I got a flu today and I was worrying whether it influence our today communication a lot or just a little bit. I hope it's going to be just a little bit, because my voice is a little bit lower and that's it, I hope. But still, feeling the emotions and building the communication are really independent, and so on and so forth. There are numerous things that influence communication. Especially it matters when you're just studying. and everybody is unknown people. You do not know what's the culture, what's the tool we're going to use, who are feeling something. Maybe somebody is introvert, and that means that he will be suffering a lot to build this communication, much more than extroverts. Vice versa, maybe this person is an extrovert, I don't know, and he's trying to communicate a lot, and he's taking all the space, and it can influence badly too. Nothing is bad, or nothing is wrong, nothing is particularly right. It's only up to you. But you can just first be aware what's going on and what can influence the whole communication this way or another. I would say that definitely there are a lot of types of communication, even gradations differ a lot. But the most common one when we're talking about the communication is verbal or non-verbal. Once again, as I mentioned, there are absolutely different types of, not types, but parts of communication. And we are most commonly used verbal and believe it like the main one, but definitely it's not. And the business analyst will be the first person who can mention that listening is as meaningful as talking, sometimes even more meaningful. And that's why this is one of the main skills we should have. Ability to question right and to listen to the answer attentively and accurately putting it into the requirements is actually one of the, I know it's a golden ticket for business analyst. Moreover, there is visual communication. That's why presenter is highly advised to always present his own face, because sometimes it's something extraordinary, like signing I'm doing right now. This is something I'm trying to deliver. Both with it, I try to transfer my optimism, my emotion, and my point of view, definitely. And the thing is, with all these small signs, like nonverbal communication is what you're doing with your eyes and your mouth, your lean of a head. It can be doing something with arms, even squeezing it or something like that. It still matters something. For example, if you're delivering some information and you can see that the auditory has their eyes widely open and maybe even with a little bit of open mouth, it means that they're scared, not in a, I don't know, wild way, as if, I don't know, cheater is seeking for them, but definitely in a way that they're in something brand new and they're stressing right now because they are trying to hold all the information within them and they're worrying about it, not to miss anything. It can be whatever, but you can see on their face that they're like feeling something, and it will help you definitely. For example, maybe you're in a hurry. You need to slow down a little bit so that people could feel a little bit less stress, at least by trying to receive what you're talking about. From me personally, I totally recommend the episodes and the serial Lie to Me, because it helps a lot. It's particularly interesting and it's so well connected to the psychology, which is very helpful in our everyday activities again. Yep. And also a good fact I actually caught while researching that nonverbal cues and body language, as well as facial expressions and tone of voice account, it's almost 55% of all communication. Which in other means that what are you talking about right now, it matters, but how you talk and what do you have on your face also matters even more sometimes. Coming to actually the core of our speech today, why do devs need BAs in general? Definitely all of you, or at least most of you, have already the answer within your mind. But let me just quickly remind you, or maybe share a little bit new, because the main issue with the BAs is they are needed on the project so that to release time of development by minimizing interactions with stakeholders and product owners. It means that they will do it for you. Just imagine the situation 30 years ago when the software developers were there, but there was I would say business analyst was a rare bird there. But still, somebody had to do all these activities. They need to collect requirements so that just not to be in vain. They need to take care about backlog and due dates and stuff like that, as well as project managers do right now. That's why we are here to assist BAs mostly, not only BAs, devs, but not only devs, but also the whole team. We're here just to take their time and save it for them. Moreover, business analysts can be very useful, and I hope they are, because they allow any team member, especially developer, to quickly find out what exactly is going on, find out any information within the project, or at least to show the direction where they can find it. Sometimes business analysts tend to just say, okay, have you ever read the requirements? Sometimes the answer will be no, but you are still here to direct people and show them where they can find the info. When the business analyst is involved into the project deeply, he actually becomes kind of single source of truth. Yeah, definitely the product owner could be, but BAs are also product owners. Yeah, definitely requirements, specification, I don't know, Jira tasks, whatever, they also are source of truth. But the business analyst should be aware of what it was, what it should be, what is it now, how we can change it, why we couldn't change it the other way. So yeah, they are the single source of truth. And a lot of 100 of other things. Yeah, they care about change control together with managers. They, if they're really good and experienced enough, they will decompose the tasks in a smart way so that it will be easy to take and to have it done within the sprint or whatever. And also, they will help you to compile with business values because, well, they know why we're doing this project in general. Sometimes devs tend to forget about it. Yeah, they care about the task they're having right now. They care about the code, but sometimes they forget about the value. And the value is why we're all here. And that's why VA matters for devs, but in particular. And just a reason to smile, you can see about secretary here. Yeah, because in the beginning, when we're not that mature, we're not that experienced, we are kind of bad secretary. We're trying to log everything. We're trying to realize where everything is going on. We are not mature enough to say how it should be, maybe at the beginning, definitely. But I really wish you not to be bad secretary from the beginning to the end of your career, because, well, we're not only bad secretaries, we are much more. Now let me present a small categorization of BAs. It's definitely not scientific, absolutely. That's something that I brought from my experience, and I hope you maybe will take it and enjoy having it, and maybe you will categorize yourself too. And the first type I want to present is a fellow bro BA. And actually, I like this one. That's for you to decide whether it's fine or not. Do you want to be like this fellow bro? But definitely you can have something in your mind, and maybe something will trigger you and make you to improve your personal experience, attitude, and career. Yep, fellow bros, you can definitely give some details from your mind, from scratch. They are usually open to any initiative. They're easygoing. They're always back in the DevOps, and well, they're participating as a team members completely. But definitely there are some cons here, because sometimes they have a lot of gaps in documentation just because they take care about communication and being a bro much more than logging something, and that's something bad that can happen to you. They are not really a protectors just because they are not there on the, I would say, administrative level. They're together with the team. They will share the blame if there will be something. They will definitely share the wins, but they won't be able to protect anyone just because they're part of the team, not holders. Then another one is a poor baby. I believe that most of us start with this position. And that's absolutely fine, that at the beginning, we're really open to something new, we're learning, and maybe this poor baby type is not only about BAs, it's also about developers and other team members. In the beginning, you're ready to get something, you're a servant, you're assisting to anyone, and you can see, for example, that on this slide, both on the left, on pros list and cons list, there is one point about poor babies. They really believe that devs are God. And it can play a trick with you, but at the same time, it makes you believe you're really good, you're great as a developer. So keep it in mind. The next one type I want to mention is mother hen. Here I need to admit that I tend to be such kind of business analyst. I wouldn't say, once again, that's terrific. That's pretty fine. And sometimes it's even the best option you can take on yourself when going to the project. Mothers hen are overprotective sometimes, but still they're ready to lead. And they're definitely those who will protect the teams, the devs itself. They always on the team side. They will argue with project owners and stakeholders, I hope in a well-behaved manner, but they will struggle for you, and they will do everything on top of their abilities. They're well organized usually, and they assist you on every step. But sometimes, once again, it can play a trick, because you may be a little bit hostile to initiatives. Guys, maybe we shouldn't do this in a new way. We have the one which worked perfectly. We shouldn't risk like that. Or sometimes they're obsessed with control. If a pretty June developer comes to a project, they will literally hold him as an eagles or his mother hands over him and trying to explain him everything. And with this attitude, I would say the main mistake you can make is for example, to forget about requirements, not even forget yourself, but forget to let the developers forget that they exist, just because you will be there with answers always. You won't recommend them enough to go to the requirements and look themselves. So the whole solution built in your mind, and that's natural, you know, but you should also teach team developers and QAs and whoever to look into the requirements, because it's meaningful. What if a bus factor will come? What if a lot of things can happen? And that's why mother hen is not that good. It could, you can believe from the first glance. Another one, the worst one. For me personally, it's the worst, because building communication as a boss is building it as authorital. Sometimes it's needed. Obviously, there are situations when, for example, you have a team of Junes, you have very complicated, not even Junes, but somebody who is not aware of the domain or programming language or something like that. And then you need to be a boss. But I would say it would be awesome if you can switch it on and off whenever you need it. Because bosses are great leaders. They're really well organized. They make decisions quickly, which is meaningful when providing the service to our clients. And they're really good at delegating. And that's all is brilliant, unless there were all these cons, like they're always right. It's very hard to argue with them because they believe they're kind of gods. They can be hostile to initiatives. They can be obsessed with control, but whatever, actually. And the worst thing that can happen here, from my experience, and then you overtake all the wins of the team and behave as if you are the only one who actually the reason of your wins, which is wrong from the beginning. That's why I would advise you to relook at yourself if you're acting like this and trying to improve stuff, because whatever we provide it as a team. Yep, secretary, once again, I would say it should be one of the multiple BAs roles. Sometimes it's overwhelming because there are projects when you have to work a lot with, for example, on tech projects, when you work a lot with APIs, when you provide a lot of technical documentation specific, when you're a system analyst, it's definitely needed, because documentation is kind of, I don't know, it's like a deal with devil, because any letter matters, and that's why you're beginning to behave like that, as if it's it's our God, it's our trust, it's something we have to do all the time. At the same time, you shouldn't forget about initiative, you shouldn't forget that there should be other things, and you shouldn't forget you still need to, maybe not always, but you need to be a leader. And you shouldn't be obsessed with documentation, especially if not that kind of project you are issuing right now. Yeah. And the last but not the least, this is the idol. This is the one BA. He's attentive and reachable. He's protective. He's open-minded, but he's still ready to delegate. He's ready to protect. He's highly organized. His documentation is brilliant. The only thing, guys, if even such a BA exists, I assume it breaks quickly. Yeah, because to be an idol, to be ideal in general is a bad idea. You need the balance, and that's why I wouldn't say it's highly recommended trying to be the one. So to finalize everything what I was talking about, I just suggest to realize once again, why do BAs need devs? Sometimes we have this feeling that, oh God, the developer is doing something too slowly. Oh God, he's not reading my requirements and stuff like that. But please keep in mind that we can plan whatever. Sometimes we can even program ourselves, but still, as long as we're participating in the project as a business analyst, we are those who just giving instructions and advices. But the devs are the one who actually bring the value. The devs are the one who actually bring some particular buildings when we think about it. I hope you admire the pictures, because, by the way, they're provided by the artificial intellect. Yeah, that's a quick tip, maybe not inside of our agenda, but I totally recommend we're going to present something. Use AI. It's helpful, and all rights are yours. Just a small thing I would like you to take into consideration and to think a little bit is, could you please remember, how old are you when you find out who the devs are? From example, from my experience, I knew who the developer is and programmer is, starting from where I was actually learning how to communicate with a computer, which is my 10 years old, I would say, vice versa. And the second question here is, when you learned who the BAs are. And the answer here, as I've mentioned already, when I go, personally from my experience, when I went to the BAs courses, and in the end of these courses, that was the ending question. So guys, who you are, who BAs are. And that was the moment I realized who they are, actually, because I need to collect a lot of small things to realize what we're doing, what are the value. So I suggest, if you want to post in chat right now, what ages, first one, what age were you when you realized who the devs are? And the second number is when you learned who the BAs are, actually. How old were you? Maybe our Alexandra will share some details if you will be able to add such information. But let me still continue.
Yes, I will let you know when we get any answers. Yeah.
Great. Yeah, thanks, Alexandra. The other part, it's like the continuation of what we're talking about, is what actually is going on in IT right now in different companies, and what's wrong with that, maybe what are the challenges we're issuing right now, and what is the common environment for BA and dev communication. I assume you're aware of all of these points, but communication barriers, the one that are challenging right now. First is a lack of in-person interaction between remote teams. I would say it has some negative because you're not having this nonverbal conversation we were talking about previously, but at the same time, we are much more freer, and definitely we're getting better in chatting, in conferencing, in calls and stuff like that. That's why you can just trigger the situation and turn it from the bottom to the top so that you can see the good things that it delivers. For example, I wouldn't say that it would be possible for me personally to communicate at the same day with Mexicans and Japanese, as well as people from Poland and UK at the same day. And this is the thing I'm experiencing right now. And that's fantastic, actually. I like meeting people, and that's why I appreciate it a lot. But still, it delivers some problems, and it can be resolved as problematic. There are team members working in different schedules, and that can be a problem too. For example, as I mentioned from my experience, I'm working with Japan and Mexico right now. So Japan is deeply sleeping, all of them, while Mexico is just starting to work. And it brings some difficulties. For example, we have to schedule meetings in the morning for us in Poland for the Japan, and in the evening for us in Poland for Mexico. And it absolutely a challenge. It have never ever happened for the last 5 months, so that they all collected together. And this gap can definitely bring some problems, but you are the one who can handle them, actually. Different team members relying on or preferring different platforms for communication. That's true, but I would say that's the least of our problems, because I've been working in bank, and we had 8 channels to communicate with them. And this amount actually brings a lot of problems, because somebody prefers to work with WhatsApp. Somebody is always achievable on Telegram. All should be achievable on email, but they won't, and stuff like that. So you should understand that this is a challenge we're issuing right now. Moreover, it can be a problem, but BAs are here to resolve this problem, that the documentation or the documented information is highly unachievable, or not all of people have access there, and you can be such a mediator between people and information. It can be good for us. I wouldn't say is brilliant for all of the rest. And differences in language or workspace jargon. Yep, that's not something new. That's something that exists, I believe will exist for longer. Because, well, I should say I like differences and appreciate having them with people. But maybe once again, it can be treated as something optimistic. So how we can handle with all these things? There are actually 4 main recommendations. That's not by me, but I totally understand, and I would sign in every word here. And these 4 things, how to handle all this problematic environment, is first, compelling direction. It means that everybody is aware why are we here, what actually we're trying to achieve and deliver, and everybody is aware what is our goal. When everybody has it in their mind, you really start communicating as a group of connected people. You are really building trust. Just take it from your personal experience and think it over. When you were in the university, you actually made greatest friend out of your teammates in university. When you were in school, it was your classmates. And that is what goal builds. It builds a trust. It makes you something unique. It identifies you from all the rest of the people. The second one is a strong structure. Yep, definitely. If you know for sure that there is some handbooks how to do this or that, how to take care about your taxes, how to take care about issuing something about going wrong, when you know for sure that there is a person who is aware of giving accesses to this particular site, you feel comfortable, you know what to do. And as well as you realize that you participate in this project, in this particular role, there are others and you aware absolutely who is doing what. And that once again, it helps build trust. It helps you feel a team, a real organism, which consists a lot of cells, and they're working together to bring the value so that we could breathe, we could speak, we could communicate, and enjoy our life. The third one is a shared mindset. Once again, it's very close to the first one I was talking about. When you care and care a lot about the value that you're bringing as a team, as a project team, whatever it can be, you feel connected and you can overwhelm all these obstacles like culture breakage, I don't know, age gaps, stuff like that. And the last but not the least, supportive contexts. It's much more about project management, but still business analysts should be aware that when people know for sure that they will come to work and will have particular class notebook, they will have all the pens and notebooks to make their notes. They know that there will be warm there will be a cup of coffee there and a glass of water too. And all this make people feel comfortable so that they can concentrate on the value they're providing and on the communication itself. So a little bit of my experience here. What could go wrong? What are the main mistakes maybe in the issues, particularly from my experience? The first one, developer won't read documentation. Already mentioned today, and I believe we'll mention forever, because I don't believe that it seems to change one day. Developers don't want to read documentation. They are here not to read documentation. They're here to provide value, to code with the greatest value. They have so much things to do. Why should they read documentation? Yep. Common thing. Just let me not comment here, because the next slide will be with answers, tips how to deal with it. The second one, developer believes he knows better. Maybe he does, but maybe he doesn't. Maybe the other developer believes he knows better, and this is a conflict here, because, well, they know different things are better. What shall we do? The third one, developer can't get what he must do. I mean, he wants to have some tool, but he's not allowed to because it's too expensive. Maybe sometimes it's about sense. For example, he just doesn't understand what's going on, what do you want from him, what is stated in acceptance criteria, and what the whole, why we're here. He's lost a little bit. He doesn't get it. The fourth, developer is not motivated to address to you and prefers to go to the source of requirements. So the business analyst is not mature enough. Go away from here, guy. Mr. Boss, could you please answer me? What color should be this button? Yep, this particular story happened to me multiple times. By the way, I suggest you to just keep something, I don't know, count how much points do you have, and you can answer in the chat whether you're going to have bingo with all of the 7 points. The fifth one, developer doesn't trust your decision. Yeah, it still can happen. For example, you say that you should do this color in blue, but he personally don't like this blue, and that's why he's starting to refer to anyone. And that's brilliant if he refers to the designer, who actually will say him the numbers and letters of this particular blue or other color. But he can try to have conversation with other teammates and try to decide himself. So he doesn't trust you enough, so that take as granted what you're talking about. The sixth, developers teaches you how to do your job. That's my personal love. And I should say that's maybe because of my type of character, because I hate instructions which are given in a bossy way. I hate when people think that I'm not experienced enough, but I'm struggling with it, guys. And we all need to struggle, because definitely there will always be things you're not aware of. Definitely somebody can teach you with something new. Maybe he even definitely know better than you. But still, we need to hold our emotions and try to treat it okay. But that's fine. Just sorry that's tipping already, but still, I just advise you to say that you are irritated a little bit. Could you please put it another way? Yeah, the seventh, a developer doesn't know who are you and how he should communicate to you. And that one is very easy to overcome, but still it happens from time to time. Once again, most likely with Junes. They are not aware of who they are and what they should be doing sometimes. That's why it's completely natural that they don't know who the BAs are, who the PMs are, and what is the difference between product owner and product manager. Just keep it as it is. So actually, that's the least how I suggest you to resolve this issue. So if you want to read the documentation, make it as structured and readable as possible. Make it full of pictures, schemes, algorithms, whatever, so that he wasn't forced to read numerous words and these huge articles, but he could see the idea from something very, very specific. This exercise actually helps a lot to understand yourself what's going on. Sometimes you use thousands of words to explain how the search should work, when you better just to create the algorithm or model. And when you see it in such a simple and easy way, you realize, whoa, that's so simple. How could I have it's so huge in words? The next one, when you have very maybe experienced or at least self-confident developer who believes he knows better, that's all right. Behave like I don't know, really confident and actually intelligent woman. Just, okay, if you know better, tell me how it should be. Ask their developers, what do you think and why do they believe that actually they know better? Maybe they are. If they aren't, you can argument, have some argument, you can bring some, I don't know, officials here. You definitely have all the tools. Just treat it easily. It's okay. It happens. Maybe he does. Doubt yourself, but not a lot, because still we're all people, and developers should also take into consideration that maybe, just maybe, you can be right too. The next one, there are some developers, as I've mentioned, who can find something, what they need. They're always asking, for example, we have this organizational structure model. Could you please remind me, where is it? In 2 weeks again, we have this organizational structure model. Could you please remind me? And maybe that's fine, especially when it's stuff like that. But in general, I would recommend to teach the team, to teach the developers to look into the requirements itself. Just show me how it's organized, how they can find something within them. Show them, maybe give them an article. Maybe they have something to share. Definitely they have. Usually somebody kind of team lead provides some documentation too, but let them touch it. So that they were aware how it works and how they can get something from that. And what about not getting the task itself? Because you see this 2 minutes in this point. I would recommend, once again, pre-reviews, grooming sessions, so that everybody was aware what we're talking about. So that words was not an obstacle, but the help of them, just a reminder how it should work, actually, what we're asking for from them to deliver. When we're talking about motivation to communicate with business analysts, I would totally recommend being constructive, conceptual, and transparent. Nothing magical here. And so on and so forth. For each and every situation, you have the solution. And the only thing I encourage you to think of and to always do is to be not afraid to ask for help, to be strong enough to continue, and always talk about it. Talk with developer, talk with product manager, with everybody. And we can see a funny picture here, the dog and the small girl. Because when building communication, you should just treat as if you are trying to explain somebody who is not mature enough. That's fine. That can be triggering, but still it helps. I would just skip it and give you one thing to think over. Put in chat, please, what tips you would give yourself on your first year when you was a newcomer, when you was this poor baby, so that you strongly believe could help you to build better relationship with developers. As of now, wherever you are, on which stamps you are, maybe you are still a June. That's fine. That's brilliant, actually. Welcome to our job. Still think what you have learned previously or lately that can help you with communication, something brand new. And once again, we will ask Alexandra to announce in the end of our talk what interesting we have there. I'm sorry, guys. I've taken too much of time to talk about communication. I'm not sure now. Should I go on with the discrimination topic, or we should lay it off for another meeting? Alexandra.
Yeah, it would be great to continue about the discrimination topic in short, and I would like to mention that we've got some replies for your first question regarding how old are you when you know who were the developers or business analysts, and I can see that the majority got to know about who were the developers when they were young, like from 8 years old to high school, but they only got to know who were the business analysts when they started at university, like the third grade, maybe when they started the specialized course about this, and they know about the definitions of the business analyst and so on. So yeah. And we still have like 5 minutes, and it would be great to listen just in short about the discrimination and to get some tip and tricks from you.
Yep, thanks, Alexandra. Yeah, I'll try to keep it as quick as possible. And sorry for that, guys. I'm talking okay. This actually topic is very serious. Maybe I shouldn't start it with smiling, but this is how I usually react to anything. I hope that every one of you is aware that discrimination is unjust or prejudicial treatment of different categories of people. And it still happens in our life, sadly, and we should always take it into consideration. For example, there are a lot of laws and regulations that actually trying to resolve issues with discrimination. They're trying to put people's attention to this issue, and they're fighting against it. So it's okay that you appeared in the court when you've done something especially mean. Let me just announce the big discriminations we already have, and I hope we're all aware of. It's age discrimination, disability discrimination, sexual orientation discrimination, status as parent discrimination, religious discrimination, national origin discrimination, pregnancy, sexual harassment, and gender discriminations. And I would be a happy person if I would say that I never faced and I never saw incidents with all of these big deals. But sadly, that's true. I wouldn't go deep into the details because we're not issuing my personal offenses here, but it still happens. It happens in Belarus, sadly, and more likely in Poland even. And why we're here and why I'm trying to accent your attention is that we shouldn't take it as not a big deal. It's a big deal, especially if it's something really mean, like, I don't know, beating people, harassment or stuff like that. It's just not normal. We shouldn't treat it like that. This something I want to empathize right now. That's maybe not of that great value. It won't teach you a lot of things, but show you how the situation actually is serious. This statistics on the board is provided by NASDAQ, and it's pretty terrifying. 35% of those who participated in this statistics gathering have experienced discrimination at their current company. And they go on working and they still having it as fun. I just believe that people who provided these discrimination issues were fired or at least treated seriously. 80% experienced discrimination while working remotely. So you can see that it doesn't help that much. And people maybe pay less attention on what they're speaking and how they do say this. Personally, I but faced 2 issues of discriminations during last 2 months only. So I once again ask you and advise you highly to put attention on such things so that it was less and less, maybe completely disappear in some period of time. Only 54% of people who had reported their matter fully resolved. It means that maybe they were ignored. Maybe nobody acted as personal. Maybe it was like official sorry. But it wasn't treated seriously. 32% didn't report because they weren't sure it was a big enough deal. And that's a problem I'm just reminding here. We shouldn't ignore it. We should report. We should talk it over. We should point it out. 85% of people believe that their company has proper measures in place to prevent discrimination. You see how much it differs with all the previous statistics above. 85% of people believe that it works, while 55 have experienced discrimination and 80 experienced while working remotely. So you can see that actually, if you believe that everything is okay, it was just an accident, sometimes it doesn't. For you, it's an accident, but maybe there is a person somewhere there who is suffering each and every day or even each and every moment. And you are the person who can help here. Just to put it in a little bit more friendly way, this is a small bingo of actual small offenses in our daily life. I wouldn't suggest you to resist it strongly as if it was sex and gender discrimination, but it's something that exists. Sometimes, if you take as granted that usually people joke, and the joke has part of reality inside, there are a lot of jokes about seniority. Oh, you're June, come on, what can you know about it? Even though a person researched for hours. Discrimination about profession. What would you have in your mind when I say designer? Definitely you would imagine something, I don't know, birdie fairy or something like that. Well, it isn't, because sometimes they're really serious, and only when you face you, oh, come on, it's all stereotyping. Coding language jokes. Guys, it should be stopped sometimes, because, well, it's going on whatever project I participate in, there are these jokes. And that's fine. Once again, as soon as everybody is comfortable with it, both with seniority jokes and profession stereotypes and coding language and humor sense and whatever, even this continuous struggle between cat lovers and dog lovers, they are all pretty fine unless somebody is strongly incompatible with that. National origin. Okay, when you're announced that your next project is going to be with India participators, especially if you're European, especially if you're West European, you will have kind of flag there saying, oh, it's going to be a problem. They're quite specific and talking English and stuff like that. And that's okay to have this flag. That's not okay to bring this to all of the people, and especially to make this, in my particular experience, endurance people, as well as gender and so on and so forth. So what I suggest here is just to first try to stop this. Second, always be sure that you are talking with people who are not offended with what you're talking about, especially when these are serious things like gender discrimination, stuff like that. Absolutely inappropriate if your manager comes and on the break-in interview with stakeholders, one of the teammates mentioned that she's reading psychology book, and the manager says that, oh, maybe that's because you're single and you're looking for a husband. That's inappropriate, guys. So just take into consideration what's matter also. And you should treat it carefully. And you should treat people kinder. Maybe one day we will wake up in a kind world where everybody will be happy with what's going on, and everybody will be ready to help each other. Let me just stop here. I had some exercise, but I guess we're run out of time. Alexandra?
Yeah, we're getting out of time and we're getting to the end of our conversation. So I wanted to thank you, Galina, for such a presentation and managing your communicating skills topic. So it would be nice. We've got some more questions in the chat. So we just promised to all our attendees that me and Galina will write answers to these questions in writing. Yeah, you'll get the answer, of course. And I would like to thank Galina one more time and all the audience for participating in our topic today, in our talk. And also stay with us because the next presenter will have a complex topic about the business business analysis in pre-sales. So yeah, just stay with us and enjoy the BA conference. Thank you very much. Thank you, Galina. See you later. Stay
Thank
with
you.
us.
My
Thank
pleasure.
you. Bye bye.